What's up, everybody? It's me, E-Man from E-Man's Movie Reviews, and welcome to episode 13 of the recap, where I catch you up on the latest news that you might have missed out on over the week. However, this is also going to be not a full episode, just the fact that we have some breaking news. Michael Keaton, the legendary Batman himself, is officially in talks with Warner Brothers and DC to reprise his role as Batman in the upcoming Flashpoint movie starring Ezra Miller. Now, let me just tell you, this is the type of rumor we can get excited for. Why? Because not only was this reported on, websites like comicbook.com or whatever, but it was also confirmed by other bigger websites like Deadline. Deadline got on the phone, talked to whoever at WB or DC, was like, hey, is this legit? And they confirmed the fact that this was actually happening. Now, let me clarify this though. This is not official, like he has not signed on the dotted lines. Michael Keaton is only in talks right now. So that means that there is the possibility that this might fall through. This might not actually happen. All we know right now is that Michael Keaton is in negotiations with Warner Brothers to actually play Batman in the upcoming movie. So if anything, the news is legit, but the possibility is still kind of 50-50. But however, now that we know that this isn't just some clickbait news, I think it's now a little bit more appropriate that we can actually talk about it and dig a little deeper. Personally, I kind of feel as though this is going to happen, mainly because of the fact that, DC and Warner Brothers, they've been kind of iffy, with the background. They've had some hits, they've had some not so good hits, and I think one of the best ways to kind of do some damage control and course correction is to actually get a fan favorite casting and put them in one of the movies. And there's no bigger fan favorite cast than Michael Keaton to reprise his role as Batman, in the DCEU. So what does it mean if Michael Keaton were to be in Flashpoint? Well, for some of you that might not be familiar with Flashpoint, let me just kind of tell you, first and foremost, you need to go watch the animated Flashpoint Paradox movie. Beautiful, lovely, excellent stuff. We already know DC's animated stuff is just as good, if not better, than Marvel's live action stuff, okay? But in the comics, basically the story is just the fact that Flash, he runs so fast that he goes back in time to try and save a loved one. And what ends up happening is he screws up the timeline. He creates a whole alternate reality, and he just messes up in classic Barry Allen style. Which, by the way, reminds me, there is another rumor out there. Now, it hasn't been confirmed the same way Keaton has been confirmed, but there is a rumor out there that Jeffrey Dean Morgan is also in talks to come back and play the role of Thomas Wayne. Now, I'm not going to spoil it for those of you who don't really know what Thomas Wayne does in the Flashpoint story. Just know that it's pretty good, and that if Jeffrey Dean is playing this, it's going to be great. I personally think he is going to kill that role, because he is perfect for it. So it'll be really dope to have Thomas Wayne come back as Jeffrey Dean Morgan and potentially have Michael Keaton playing Batman as well. Oh my gosh, there's a lot to process with that. But anyway, about Michael Keaton himself, what do we know so far? Really nothing. We don't know what the Flashpoint exactly is going to be about. All we can kind of go off of right now is what the animated movie and the comics, like the bare bones story structure of it. My guess is that obviously it's going to have to deal with time travel. Obviously it's going to have to deal with alternate universes. And if anything, all this will do is re-solidify what DC's already been doing with their TV shows and trying to introduce and expand the world building around their multiverse. And again, for those of you that are not familiar, the multiverse is just multiple different versions of these, dimensions or worlds. So you might have a Batman from this dimension, a Batman from this dimension, etc., etc., etc. But when it comes to, Michael Keaton's character, some of the reports are saying that he's going to be actually a character that will show up in multiple DC movies. I think Batgirl was one that was going to be a potential one for him to show up in. They're saying that he's going to have a Nick Fury type of presence, which means he'll be kind of like a mentor in a sense, maybe to other heroes. or he will be the person behind the scenes pulling the strings and stuff. So he's gonna have some sort of presence if this deal actually happens. Now, I don't really know if like Keaton will come in and kind of like play the older version of Ben Affleck's Batman, because Ben Affleck's Batman, he was supposed to be kind of like an inspiration from the Dark Knight Returns graphic novel. That's kind of like where Batman was like old and retired and then he came back. But Batman in Ben Affleck's version wasn't that old, so I don't know if Keaton is going to kind of like step into those shoes. Personally, and I know other people have speculated this, I'm hoping he's more of like the Batman Beyond version of Batman, where basically he's just the very, very, very old version of Batman, and there's a new Batman, Terry McGinnis, that is, you know, he's kind of mentoring along the side. But I would love to see them bring the Batman Beyond version of Batman through Michael Keaton. I think that would just be awesome. And one of the reports also said that Michael Keaton's Batman would actually have his story pick up from Batman Returns. And for those of you wondering, like, oh my gosh, we have so many Batman here, there, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton, and we also have Robert Pattinson as well. This Michael Keaton Batman will not impact whatever Matt Reeves is doing with Robert Pattinson in that version of Batman. But then again, we don't know, because they're also doing a multiverse, which means maybe they do cross paths in some weird, freaky way. We don't know. But so far, reports are saying that they would not cross paths, and one is not going to step on each other's toes. Now, I've said it many, many times. DC has been in a bit of an array, with their consistency in the live action realm of movies. And one of the best ways to fix that is to just do the Flashpoint story. In the comic books, the Flashpoint story was made to kind of like reboot the DC universe. So it only makes sense that since you have that grounding already in the comic books, to just do that with the live action. And I've always said that one of the best things that they can do is, if you do the Flashpoint paradox, you can literally sit there and pick and choose the things that work and toss out the things that don't work. So if you want to bring in the Joker, with Joaquin Phoenix's version, and you want to put him with Robert Pattinson's version, you can do that, when you screw up the timeline in Flashpoint. So, you know what? I'm just happy that Michael Keaton is even a possibility. I personally think that, all the excitement on the internet is going to add a little bit more fuel to, if anything, if he is interested in doing this, this will be leverage for him to be like, you guys see all the fans that want me? Pay me. So anyway, what do you all think about this news with Michael Keaton potentially playing Batman in the Flashpoint? What role specifically do you think he'll play as Batman? Anyway, let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking. Thank you all so much for taking the time to watch my video. I certainly appreciate it. As I mentioned before, this is just going to be a shorter, bonus version, because yes, this is breaking news. I'm not waiting like a whole week to talk about it. And we will get back to our regularly scheduled program. I've had a little time to decompress, and I'll have some fuller episodes later on. Plus, I've been working my butt off on this new Black Widow theory video that I'd really like for you guys to see once it's all done. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. It has something to do with basically her new mission, and how her new mission is going to impact all of Phase 4, because it doesn't really make sense why she's in Phase 4 as the first movie unless it's going to have a bigger impact. So I'm gonna give you my theory as to why I think she's gonna have that bigger impact and why she's more important than you might think. So definitely subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more. I've got more videos and reviews to do for you all, and until next time, I'll see you all later.